An issue that we have in our society is how we're constantly compartmentalizing everything. We try to separate everything into its small parts, and food is one of many examples. We try to parse everything out, like I say, into its macronutrients or stuff like that. And so we don't recognize the value of the overall thing. And so we think that we can create something that's better, that's actually way worse, and that's destroying our bodies. And most of us out here don't really understand that what we're eating most of the time is really, really bad for us. What's going on, y'all? Sean McClendon here, empowering you to look better, to feel better, and to take full control of your health. So, I had a thought this morning. I was thinking about how I think I assume that it's that everybody knows now how to read food labels. But I can't do that. You can't really assume that. So let's talk about that this morning. And it's quite simple. The way you read a food label is simply to look at the ingredient list. Now, the reason why I say that is because typically the way that we judge food in today's culture, in our society, I'll say, is not by the ingredients, but rather by the macronutrients, by the various metrics and things that you see on a nutrition facts label. And so that is very problematic because what it allows you to do is it allows you to compare all kinds of foods to other kinds of food and judge what's good and what's not based on the macronutrients. Now, in case you don't know what I mean by macronutrients, I'm talking about protein, carbohydrates, fat, sugar, sodium, the little vitamins and all that kind of stuff, all of that. Now, that's an issue because what you're able to do is you can actually compare highly processed foods to foods that are like in their natural state. And you could even start to believe that the processed foods are healthier than the natural foods. Okay. So, for example, say that you were to compare, I don't know, a loaf of white bread, enriched white bread to an egg. Okay. Now, when you compare those, the enriched bread is probably going to have a lot more vitamins and things that than the egg does per se. Okay. And so if you were to compare them based on that, you would think, well, you know what? This bread ain't half bad, you know. Well, the egg may have more protein, but the bread has vitamin A and maybe they added vitamin C, maybe add some minerals in there. So this is some pretty healthy bread. But here's the thing, y'all. Here is the thing. The bread is undoubtedly worse. And you and I know that. I think we intuitively know that an egg is going to be better than white bread because the egg is just it comes from the earth that same way. It literally comes straight from the chicken. Now, we could get into all the ins and outs of, how the chicken's raised and all that kind of stuff. But for the intent of this video, we're not going to worry about that. But I think we intuitively know that the egg is better. But then the other thing is really think about the bread. Now, first of all, the bread, they enrich the white bread to try to make it seem worth eating to some degree, because if they didn't put anything in there, then it would be absolutely worthless. Absolutely worthless. So they try to enrich it to like try to add some value to it, and even encourage us to give it to our kids and whatnot. But otherwise, it's just like this, and then they color it and all that to kind of make it more appealing and add texture to it. So it'll be very, very it'll be addictive and so on and so forth. But it's really worthless. Then you can get into the whole thing with how the synthetic vitamins added aren't necessarily as absorbable by the body and so on and so forth. But again, the point that I'm making is if you look at the nutrition facts on the back of the bread and you are able to compare that to the nutrition facts of like an egg, then you might go off thinking something that's totally wrong. Okay? But if you look at the ingredients list, an egg is just an egg. That's it. That's all an egg is. It doesn't have anything else in it. Bread, rather, is going to have flour that has been highly refined, that has been bleached. The nutritious part of the flour has been removed, and you're left with really just like the sugar from the bread is kind of in essence what it is. It's starch, whatever you want to call it. Then it's going to have, of course, the synthetic vitamins and whatnot. Then it's going to have fillers. It's going to have all kind of substances to kind of help it to give it the texture and all that kind of stuff. All these additives are going to be in the bread. And so if you look at the ingredient list and you see all this stuff that you don't recognize, then that's indicative that what you're consuming is more or less like a science project. That's what it is. And it's all these different kind of things that, while they may give the bread a certain kind of flavor, texture that you like, the whole purpose of it is to make it satisfying to your taste buds and not the original purpose of food, which is, supplying your body with nutrition while also satisfying you as well. There's nothing wrong with being satisfied by your food. The issue is we have a whole lot of this junk that we keep on eating that is only appealing to the taste and nothing more. And its value to the human body, which is one of the main purposes of food, there's almost no value. And so people try to add value to it, is what I'm saying. So look at the ingredient list. Don't worry so much about all of the nutrition facts, because it's training us. Just like if you let me say this, and I'm going to try to think about how to make this concise because I don't want this to be too long. An issue that we have in our society is how we're constantly compartmentalizing everything. We try to separate everything into its small parts, and food is one of many examples. We try to parse everything out, like I say, into its macronutrients or stuff like that. And so we don't recognize the value of the overall thing. And so we think that we can create something that's better, that's actually way worse, and that's destroying our bodies. And most of us out here don't really understand that what we're eating most of the time is really, really bad for us. That's why I'm telling y'all, look at the food, look where it comes from. Matter of fact, a lot of the food, the natural food, may not even have a label. Okay? It may not have nutrition facts on it. You pick up a head of cabbage. I mean, it's cabbage. It's a lot of times just sitting there. It's not even in a bag or anything. It's just there. And if it does come in a bag or something like that, like beans, for example, it's just to hold them together. But It's either just going to be the thing itself as the ingredient, or you might have a couple of minor things. Like hot sauce is another example. If you look at a lot of hot sauce, very simply made, it's actually a very good condiment. Okay. Now there are some out there that have a lot of added sodium and maybe other things to kind of add texture and whatnot. But my point is, y'all, we have to understand that it's the ingredients, it's what we're putting in our bodies that matters. So it doesn't really matter so much if somebody made it low carb or low sodium or whatever. It doesn't matter that much. It matters more the actual substance of what's being put in your body. And because we are natural beings, it only makes sense that we put more natural things in our bodies. I hope that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Anyhow, y'all have a great day. Always make sure that you look at the ingredient list. Don't worry so much about the nutrition facts label, because a food is worth so much more than just the sum of its um all of its small parts, if that makes sense. Y'all have a good day. I have a question for you. Have you been unsuccessful at losing weight for years? Have you been finding it difficult to beat cravings that keep you in fat gain mode? Are you lacking motivation on your weight loss journey? If so, my group diet coaching program has been made specifically for you. With my group diet coaching, I help people who have unsuccessfully tried to lose weight for years to get motivated, to beat cravings, and to learn how to eat healthy so that they can finally lose the weight, look how they desire to look, and take full control of their health. My group diet coaching includes customized diet strategies, weekly food journal tracking, a weekly group coaching call, as well as my own curated mini workouts that you can do in the privacy of your own home to help you to be finally successful on your weight loss journey. If that sounds good to you, join me today. Patreon.com/Sean B2B Fitness. If you like this content, you might also be interested in one of my books. Learn how you can take steps literally today to successfully manage, control, and overcome common issues such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and belly fat. It's all about putting power back in your hands to improve your own health. Get your book copy today by the links in the description or by visiting SeanMcClennan.com/books. Also, don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe, and join my email list at SeanMcClendon.com/subscribe.